So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Firstly, listen, I'm really sorry I didn't come directly after the game on Saturday. I had quite a long drive home. I was under pressure to get home. I had numerous things that I needed to get home for, and I couldn't wait around for another 45 minutes afterwards to do this. Now, subsequently, I've not been able to get on because of other things. Just been incredibly busy at the moment. But yeah, I do apologise, but I did want to draw a line under the Brentford game at the weekend because it was such an abject performance. It was so poor in a lot of aspects. Yeah, but I just wanted to come on, I suppose, and draw a line under it as well, and just for maybe about the 8 people that messaged me saying that I'm on the club's payroll again. I don't know where this comes from. Can anybody, is there anybody out there who can let me know why people think the club will pay somebody in Ireland to do a podcast on Aston Villa when there's so many better podcasts out there that are based in Birmingham that the club could actually control? I don't know. It's mad. Look, we're in a wild and weird situation at the moment. I suppose the 2 poor results and 2 abject performances at the start of the season have people doing wild things on the internet with regards to hot takeism and Aston Villa and stuff like that. When realistically speaking, it's just been poor. It's been poor performances. There's a lot of thoughts going into it that this person's off, this person's out. Now, people's opinions are 100% valid, and look, I will never tell anybody you shouldn't have that opinion, but my opinion differs slightly with regards to it. We'll get into the game first, and then I'll get into some takes about it afterwards that I saw on Twitter. But the game was pretty abject. Villa owned the ball, couldn't do anything with it. Reminiscent of the last 5 years of Aston Villa football, really. Can get the ball, go so far, play that ball out wide, cross it in, ball gets headed away. No real threat, impetus, or fulcrum up towards the top of the field. Absolutely none. Yuri Tielemans is 100% and 110,000% played out of position when he plays as a 10. It's almost as galling as seeing Rodgers as on the right wing. Tielemans is a 10. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. Like, it's not that he's a bad player. Do not get me wrong with this. Don't misconstrue it. It's not that he's a bad player. We know that Yuri Tielemans was our player of the year last year. He was something that makes everything tick. In the 10 position, he isn't able to affect the game as much as he would want to. Now, obviously, with Kamara going off and Tielemans going back into that 6th position, we would have expected to see things change. But I think Buendia came on and when he attempted that bicycle kick, I think in the second half, if I'm not mistaken, that bicycle kick was attempted. He had 7 touches. He had 5 touches of the ball, and then he had 3 touches of the ball during that passage of play when he attempted the bicycle kick. So at that stage, he'd been on for 36 minutes, I think it was. I had it written down on my phone somewhere. I'd have to go looking for it now. And he had 5 touches of the ball. That's not that's symptomatic of when Villa concede an early goal. It's not a knock on Buendia. I personally think Buendia did play poorly, but it's not a knock on him as a player. I think he's had a fantastic preseason, and I really want him to succeed. But what it is a knock on is that when Villa concede early, and we've seen it before, we've seen it umpteen times before, we can't get that ball through the middle at all. We have an inability to get that ball through the middle. And the only times we looked like we could do it last year was when Marco Asensio was on the field. Yes, there was failings when he was tracking back and all that stuff, those failings were there. But when Asensio was on the field, he was able to play that 10 position, probably the best that we've seen somebody play it in quite a while. Moussa Diaby played it pretty well because people were scared of his pace, albeit he was knocked off the ball, just like Buendia does get knocked off the ball. Morgan Rogers was able to play that position, but I don't know, could I count on one hand the amount of times that Morgan Rogers played in the 10 position, and we went down 1-0 early against a team that plays a low block, because, you know, as the season progressed, when Rogers playing in the 10, he was moved out to the left-hand side, and then he was subsequently moved out to the right-hand side when Rashford came along. So it's a huge area for Unai Emery. And we're at the stage now whereby the whole lot of the season projection and stuff like that rests upon what happens in that number 10 position. Arguably, you can talk about the wingers. I think the wingers are in the club already if we need to bring them in there, and Evan Gassand and Daniel Mallon. I said that before the game. It was the highlight probably of it was what I spoke about mostly in the team sheet tantrum, was I would start Mallon out there for sure. I think McGinn, at this moment in time, if you don't have anybody else playing that 10 position, I think Kamara's going to be off for a couple of weeks now. I think you play on Anna and Tielemans there. They're well used to playing together. You put McGinn in at 10 and you put Mallon on the right-hand side. I don't see what's to be lost with somebody who's as energetic as John McGinn, because, again, when you put him out on that right-hand side, why is he out on that right-hand side? What's the pivotal reason for him to be out on that right-hand side? And that is so that he can tuck in, he can track back. He can be an 8. He can track back and cover Matty Cash. Matty Cash wasn't an issue in this game because realistically, Brentford didn't really attack. The only time that Matty, like you could say, he got really unlucky when the ball ricocheted back off him after Martinez makes the save, and then it comes straight back into Tatuara's path, which their goal was very fortuitous. After we put the clanger in, Pau Torres just doesn't get to the ball, which is another silly mistake. Like, there's no, like, Mings doesn't go for the header. Pau Torres doesn't get enough on the ball, and it's just fucking Calamity Jane back there for that 130 seconds, and then they get a goal. And not only do they get the goal, but Martinez makes a brilliant save, which is a really good save. Yeah, you can say he hit it at him, but he actually has to get something on it because he tried to go underneath him. Then it ricochets off Cash, off Martinez, and then goes back to Tatuara, and he can just pass it into the back of the net. Just a litany of misfortune and error. Error from Pau Torres, error from Tyrone Mings, misfortune in how the save comes straight back to the player. And Villa then just look like it's a case of, right, yeah, we're going to get something. No, this is fine. Something's going to happen. But it's not. And this is something I was saying before the season as well. I said it in one podcast. Can't remember whether it was on mine or whether it was on Claret and Blue. But the business model of Aston Villa in this PSR situation at the moment cannot be blind trust in the manager to get it right every single time, because he didn't get it right. Didn't get it right on Saturday. I think that's pretty. That's like, yeah, he didn't get it right because you can look at statistics and you can say, oh, 80 whatever percent or 77% possession or whatever, and 88% pass success rate, and all they look great. What was the effect? Like every single one of us would love to go back to being that team that beat Man City. You know, hardly no possession. I can't remember whether we did or not, but from memory, and it feels like we had little possession and we get a squirty winner off a deflection from Leon Bailey. And until we get a balance in this team again that is not conservative and that allows us to move forward, we haven't scored a goal in the Premier League in 2 games. And look, people were right to feel aggrieved about Unai Emery's aftermatch interview, saying, yeah, look, our first job was to go out there and not concede and then go win the game. That's a lost in take it literally, you're dead right to feel aggrieved about it. It's a lost in translation comment. It really is. Like, that's the way every game is you go out there, you want to be solid. Essentially what he said was, I want to be solid at the back. We want to go and we want to score. We want to score and we want to win the game. It just came out ham-handed. English is his second language. But the big reason for it was we weren't solid at the back, because the one time we needed to be solid at the back, albeit for the disallowed goal, I thought in real time it was going to be disallowed because Nathan Collins basically bent down to take. I thought that it was a rehearsed move to get in front of the goalkeeper to block him, and I thought that it was going to be called if it went to VAR, and it did, and I was proven right. What a finish by Damsgaard, by the way. But the one time we needed to defend, the massive one time we needed to defend when we were under pressure, we didn't do it. We did not do it. And that's why people are dead right and well within their rights to feel aggrieved with the literal statement that Unai Emery made. But that's fine. That's fine. My overarching feeling of it afterwards was I'm really pissed off we lost to Brentford because they were not a good team. Brentford were not good. They didn't play well. We didn't. We were the better team. We played better, but we were abject in attack. And no matter how well Aston Villa are going to play football between now and the end of next June, unless the attack is humming, we will always look toothless like that. And that's obvious where I phrased it there. But if we're going to cross the ball in, we're at nothing. Nothing. If it's going to be slow, ponderous build up, cross that ball in from Dina, cross it in from Eddie Cash, pass it from John McGinn. Hopefully it comes back to you, clip it back in from the edge of the box again and see what happens. Like we were watching the game and I said, I think the way Villa are going to get into this is probably if they get a penalty. That's it. And they didn't get a penalty. But I thought that was probably their best way back into the game. But it was annoying. It was annoying to be at times to be so stifled in the 10 position that and don't get me wrong, Jordan Henderson is a model professional in the way he approaches the game of football, approaches how he wants to play the game of football, where he keeps himself fit and everything like that. His mindset, model professional. But realistically, at his age, should he be dictating the way that midfield played, the way that our midfield played? And he did. He did, because no matter where he was, we were trying to keep the ball away from him. He was running across the field. He was making tackles. He was geeing up the crowd. I thought he was really good. Yes, he got taken off for a while. I thought Yarmulke was handy enough inside there as well. But they just all they needed to do was have their pivots hold. That's all they needed to do. And Villa needs to be better than that. We'd one chance where Morgan Rogers probably should have scored, and we can talk about him as well. Morgan Rogers looked off the pace again today, or not today, on Saturday. He had that one chance where he takes a shot at it, and Etwara, I think, comes back and blocks the shot. Apart from that, we didn't have too many chances, and that's the problem. That's a huge problem. If Villa can't play through the centre, and it was a problem last year, and it was a problem actually the year that Steven Gerrard left this club. The problem with Aston Villa was we had 2 10s there in Coutinho and Buendia, I think it was, and we couldn't play through the centre, couldn't play through the middle. And I think it was evident as well that when you play against this block, if you can't play through the middle and you concede early, it'll be a tough day for this Villa team. And the reason for that is we don't have another person we can bring on in the striker role to help Ollie Watkins, or a taller person in there that can win headers, and that's fine. I'm not saying we go out and we buy one specifically, but I think that a lot of this could be, I'm with everybody, I think a lot of this could be solved with having that extra dimension. John McGinn on the right hand side is not an extra dimension. If you're playing John McGinn in that elevated 3, play him in the centre. See what happens. Get that energy. Get him winning that ball back. Quick. Let him get up beside Ollie Watkins. Playing him on the wing is playing him out of the game completely. People may not agree with that. That's fine. I know a lot of people would think Morgan Rogers, in an ideal world, put Morgan Rogers in that centre, buy somebody for the left wing, have Evan Gassand learn through the games, coming on as be that substitute striker. I thought he was really good, actually. Well, when I say really good, I thought he offered a spark that nobody else did in that second half. When he came on, I was impressed with him. Daniel Malen needs to start starting games, just does. at the moment, until Daniel Marlin gets 5-6 games of a start and gets the same faith shown in him as Leon Bailey did, the question will always be, what the hell is going on? And that, having that question hang over, becomes a problem. Now, talking about other things other potentials. There was a lot of conjecture, and look, as I said, people may be right on this. I just don't believe it. I don't agree with it. Okay, and that's fine too. I'm not castigating anybody's goodwill or not saying that anybody's wrong to think this way. I just don't think this way. Okay, it's just a difference of opinion for anybody who does think this way. So there's two things that I saw online. Number one was the PSR effect is seeping into these players and they're taking this on board. I don't believe that. And I'll tell you why I don't believe that. I don't believe that because people were saying as well, none of these players know if they're going to be here at the end of the transfer window. They absolutely do. The squad is getting close to threadbare. Or maybe the people who won't be here are Ross Barkley or Andres Garcia or that ilk of player. It's not the Morgan Rogers. It's not the Uri Tielemans. It's not the John McGinn. It's not the Ollie Watkins. It's not the Emi Martinez. It's not the guys we saw at the weekend. Might be Matty Cash. Very slightly. It's not any of the starting 11 that we saw there at the weekend. I do not think any of that starting 11 there is that the club absolutely needs to sell them. So I disagree with that premise. I disagree with the premise that the players are feeling down in the dumps about PSR not allowing them to add to the squad, because that's a whole bigger problem if that's the case. And plus, John McGinn came out and said, no, that's not the case. Does he have to say it because he's captain? Absolutely, he does. But I think he meant it. And I don't think that that's. I don't think that I don't think there is a pity party with regards to that. I just don't. I could be wrong, but I also could be right. The other thing that I don't see is I saw like he's less than a week away removed from winning the Young Player of the Year, and there was quite a lot of Morgan Rogers believes he's on hype. Morgan Rogers is this, that, and the other. He's arrogant or whatever. I just don't see it. I don't see him as being an arrogant person, believing his own hype. If anything, I think he's slightly immature, more so than anything like that. And maybe that's what you could label at him. I could be wrong on that as well. I just feel, what I mean by that, I don't mean immature as in like that he does silly things. I just feel that he's very kind of he doesn't think about things too much. And again, I could be wrong on that. But I just think I think he's just going through a spot. I think he's going through a spot. I don't think he's angling for a move. I don't think he's looking like his head is somewhere else. And I saw quite a lot of that on Twitter afterwards. I just don't like, and it's okay. Jesus Christ, God knows I've said some things that I have actually had to roll back in the heat of the moment after games and stuff like that. But I just don't think it's true. Again, could I be absolutely wrong? I absolutely could be. 1 bazillion% could be wrong on that. Now, how do Villa fix it? We need attack. Oh, sorry, actually, before I go on again, one other big piece about this is Ian Maatsen is not a good defender. And that was on show again when he came on at the weekend. And I'm not going in 2-footed on him. I actually really like the player. I just really wish we had a hybrid player between himself and Digne. I really do. I think it could be one of the best left backs in Europe if that was the case. I genuinely believe it. And I know a lot of other clubs are saying, if we can have a mix of this and a mix of that, because, you might have one bomber of a left back and you might have one more defensive left back. But like, I will continue to call out when I see Maatsen's defensive positioning poor, and it was poor at the weekend again. Not that any issues came from it when he came on, because he only had a couple of minutes, but I just really, really wish he would just improve on that side of his game. And if he can't improve on it, I would really wish we went to 3 at the back, because he's a valuable, valuable asset to this team, because he's got genuine latent pace. And I'm really at a point where I want to unlock him within this team. But I'm scared of starting him left back because of his defensive positioning. And you can have all the pace that you want. And I saw it in line as well that, look, if Matson was there, he might have had the covering pace to get in around Torres, get back to her. Not if you're out of position, you won't. Not if you're out of position, you won't. So it's just a bugbear of mine. I'm not going in 2-footed on him. I'm not saying he's the reason we lost or anything. But there are coachable moments that he has that need to be coached for him to reach his potential. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So like, how do we go about fixing this? Well, the pressure, like I won't be happy in the team sheet tantrum if we see the same 11 that went out against Brentford. I won't be happy if we don't have some sort of pace against Crystal Palace. We're going to be missing Kamara, which is a pain in the hole, because we all know how pivotal he is to us. Amadou Nana might be one of the most timid 6'6" people I think I've ever met in my life. But, you know, then again, some days then he's throwing himself into tackles and he's fine. It's just it's just a lack of consistency with his intensity that and you know what? I actually think that it's more a case that it'll be fixed with a run of games. I think think his issue is something that'll be more fixed with a run of games. Now Matson's could be as well, and I think that's probably where we're looking at these signings that have come in under Unai Emery. It's getting them a run of games. Like Daniel Malen, I think we have to see what he can do from the start. We just have to see what he can do from the start at this stage. We're getting to the stage whereby we have to see it, or else we have to cut bait. Because there's nothing a man can do against the low block like that, coming into a team that's devoid of ideas and being thrown out in the right wing and being told, there you go. How many minutes did he get? 17, was it? I can't remember how many minutes he got. Daniel Malen, 26 minutes. At 26 minutes. It's probably enough, but not the way we were playing. It wasn't. He could have been there for another 126 minutes and he mightn't have got a shot on goal. The way we were playing, because we were only able to get that ball out wide and cross that ball in. And that was frustrating. So look, I could talk for another half an hour on this. I really could, but I don't want to bore anyone. It's very much after the Lord Mayor show. You know, I'm two days out removed from it, but I need to get some things off my chest with regards to it. Just in the fact that I was disappointed, very disappointed in the performance. Really, really flat, abject performance. Do I think it can be fixed? I absolutely do. That's the takeaway point from this. Can this be fixed? Yes, is the answer. And to be honest with you, it needs to be fixed soon. It needs to be fixed soon. It's I think a lot of the ill feeling I have towards this game as well is the quality of the opposition. And once again, any Brentford fans watching this isn't me shitting on your club. It really isn't. It's just the fact that, you know, you guys came into this game expecting Villa to up their game from the Newcastle performance, and they didn't. And you guys were probably wondering where you were going after losing all the players that you had, and Keith Andrews being manager and the improving ability in that aspect. And you guys got a win, and that's a valuable win at home. And the GTEC's never an easy place to go. But Villa would have been coming there looking to kickstart their Champions League qualifying season. And now we're looking at, as I record this, we're 17th place in the league. Hyperbolic, I know, given that it's 1 point after 2 games. But still, Villa would have been looking at a completely different table. And that's an issue as well. Before the game, looking at a completely different table. Can Villa go into any game in the future and think, oh yeah, that's 3 points? Not if we played the way we played on Saturday. We certainly can't. So that's going to do it for us today. Thanks so much for this. Villa AM is also going to be out. Actually, it'll probably be out before this because I'm pre-recording this. I didn't want to go live because I wanted to just kind of spit my thoughts out on this one, guys. And apologies again for not going live again directly on the final whistle. As I say, life gets in the way, and I'm a guy doing this for the enjoyment of it, more so than anything else. And to get to interact with you wonderful people who watch the podcast. So thanks for understanding. But yeah, we will be back with more podcasts over the course of the week. And any transfer news that breaks, and Villa AM, I will go over the last couple of days and the absolute fantastical links that have been made with like Paqueta and all those. We'll go through those in Villa AM. But you've probably listened to that before this does come out, so this is a bit awkward. Anyway, stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.